1 here, you are 10 to 2.
6 to 1.
So, wait, yeah, so hang on, though, let me just think.
Wait.
We've got air.
Well, see, now, see, I told you he was gonna use defensive air when it came to his guys. Remember I said that? You remember? And you wanna trust this guy with your life.
I think that makes it a 1 to 4 attack.
We're talking about national survival now, not just, you know.
So there's a
mean, how
battle
much more Play-Doh
marker
can I
here.
use?
I was gonna say there's one battle I hadn't done yet.
We offer a square deal. 2 shots of vodka and a loaf of moldy bread every day.
So I'm gonna eat.
All you have to do is just walk over.
And this is where we still got this helicopter, so.
We're guaranteed to keep you busy. You won't have any idle time. Or any privacy.
We don't roll a 1, so you don't have to, you don't get a shot at your helicopter.
Okay. So we got 10, 20.
What happened?
He's making a,
Air
7 to 1,
airborne
7 to 1, up to
The
7 to 1.
helicopter makes it 7
Yep.
to 1. Yep.
Yep.
So I get you 4 points because you.
Well, that's still
No,
good
it's
enough,
not at
right?
7 to 1. We get a counterattack, D1R1. So with the counterattack, because we're undisrupted, you get to pick one of his units and roll on the counterattack table, since they're identical. Because you are a German
he's a
unit,
Kraut, too. Yeah,
don't
they're
roll
better
a 1 or a
table.
2. They're really
Okay.
good at these
West
counterattacks.
German. 2, that's the way I roll.
Gegangengriff.
Alright.
Yep.
Poof.
Yep.
Advance! Get out of that clear tree.
So nothing, I've got 2 euros.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we have no air. We need to use the air up there for interdiction. All right.
Oh, see, now he's trying to even it out.
So
Trying to repair his fences?
all right. So you're
I
making.
mean, the interdiction
You're
is
making.
very,
You're
unfortunately
making.
very effective at that.
You're making a 6 to 1 here. If you throw in your helicopter, you could make it a 7 to 1. But that's your choice.
Well, I've been rolling pretty good on the 6 to 1, so we'll just stay.
Yeah.
There it
And
is.
that's a poof.
Yeah, you got him. D1R2.
Dang! Look at that dead pile.
So not using the helicopter because you might lose it, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, I suck at flak rolls, so and that
then-
was
and then-
switch hex. I gotta be.
Gotta know your
Right
limits.
there.
If I did that, I wouldn't be here doing this, so.
I'm not going to.
Man, we just got incinerated.
Don't be
I
down
only
on
won
yourself.
one.
You got 5.
Well, I could throw the check.
I mean, they killed 10 units at least.
Wait, hang on. This guy was 2 steps.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So he got to retreat.
Select the issue option.
Sticky here.
We tried.
Not sure what it was, but
Wasn't he the guy in the middle?
actually he was the guy in that.
I'm excited
house.
about that.
So he would be retreating there. Well, no, he would have had to have retreated on top of him, wouldn't he? Okay.
That was the last battle, right? That one that just got.
Learning our way through this.
Is that
No,
was-
no, no. It was a. I don't know whether he was disrupted or no, he wasn't disrupted. But he is dead. All right, so here
We're gonna take a picture of the dead pile?
we're gonna react.
It's
to
not
it.
done yet.
12 dead.
Two-thirds of third armor is
There's
gone.
gonna be additions.
So your raw attack here is a 3 to 1. But if you throw on this, you can make it a 4 to 1, and if you throw on your helicopters, you can make it a 5 to 1.
Hey, let's do the helicopter.
All right.
It's a Czech helicopter.
three
Notice
divisions of
I'm
West
using the
Germans,
Czech
two-thirds
helicopter.
of
Okay.
third armor.
So you don't want to roll a 1.
There we go.
This is why I don't do it.
Now the defense is 3, so roll again.
Roll well and live. I'm not even looking.
He dies.
See? See?
Okay.
Good well, Leslie.
The-
Victory disease. I was overcome by victory disease, comrade. That's all I could say.
So now you roll your 5 to 1 attack.
I was too busy
So
singing.
4 to 1. 4 to 1.
3 and 4 to 1
4
is A1, D1, R1.
All right, so we lose a step, and you get to pick which step, but they're identical. So we lose another step. But we're going to flip your tank.
Good for you.
And the expressions on the page.
Am I engaged?
All right.
They cut separate pieces.
Yeah, but
We just met.
doesn't.
But as a part of like trying to
The
settle.
only reason that engagement matters is that I can't react and engage. There's no
nothing going on, yeah.
All right, so, how many brigades did we lose? One,
I think
two,
it's
three,
11.
4, 5, 6,
13?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
There you go.
14.
All right.
Yeah.
The
That's a good
normal
pace.
range
That's a good pace.
is 9 to 12. So 14 is really, really good. You guys blew us away. And
you
part
need
of
to
that
be-
was that you got the best arrow, so your arrow just came in and took out all our reserves.
As it
Okay,
should
so
be.
that was what made the difference, is all the suppressions that you.
All the
Okay.
suppression.
The error worked a lot better than it should have.
If I hadn't been coaching them, they would have hit all the frontline
Yeah,
units.
yeah.
But the point of this is to learn how to play
Exactly.
well. All right, so.
Yeah, who wants to play? a
We
game
we
that
now
somebody
get
doesn't want to play?
our game
Just
turn
went under
one
yourself.
movement, okay, and
Do we have any units
It's
left
on
to
the fumble
move?
fingers.
and we can't
We can't
we
attack.
can't counterattack. I mean, unless there's just some
No
field
reserve
resistance.
phase, unsuppression, we had no suppression, now it's your turn, right?
Correct. Now it's our turn, so that flips. Now here's what I'm going to recommend. We're going to use one of the air points on your front.
Okay.
This guy can only move one hex because he's disrupted. So he's going to move one hex here and hold that line. He's a sacrificial unit.
Right.
You got the city there, he's got a ZOC there. So all we need to do now is to hold this one pole.
The
And so
scoring
what we're
that's
gonna
on
do is stick this guy there.
it applies to me. Correct.
Now, this guy is a problem,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah,
if
don't get
we,
the wrong
if we make sure
idea.
that
Trying to get a
all
better
three of
angle.
these hexes are in ZOC, that's the most he can do is move into that hex.
That's where these extra markers.
So we absolutely wanna hold we wanna hold these two hexes as long as we can, because this two column shift is a thorn in his side.
Yeah.
So I would mass the British in these two hexes.
Yeah.
And what you wanna do, you wanna put 3 units in each of those hexes,
Okay.
because it would take him 2 air strikes on each one to actually get us.
That was,
Now, this guy can move, right? He can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, he can make it there.
Right, so he can make
I
it
had
one of
settled
those guys.
Felicia.
All
Right,
right.
and
This
then
one
this guy-
here, 3, 4, 5.
Well, no,
Oh.
because of the +1 ZOC.
Oh, right.
Right, so, we moved him down from there. The other guy can move in there, cause he was local.
That was weekends.
Right, and then this guy can move there. This guy who came down there can move there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy has to be in reserve.
Yeah.
to
Okay,
go
which
in
might
there.
not be bad.
And then this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He probably wants to be there, which gives 2 opportunities to go reinforce that. So that's kind of the critical defense. Between him and the interdiction, this will hold for 1 turn.
Yeah, that's what.
Right, which gives the Dutch time to get up. Past this, I'm gonna let you do the movement. That was the mission critical part. All right. So now your checks are gonna get to move, so I have to worry about the fact that the checks are all gonna come pouring forward.
You know, we have reasons to question their socialist ardor.
Czechs didn't do well in the air war yesterday, so I'll tell you that much.
One there.
It bodes ill.
Yeah. It's not good.
I will reset my expectations, comrade.
Keep it minimal for the US.
You will expect very little from
That was
each
the
other.
US.
All right,
Because all
so
it was presidential
for
issues,
this
and
turn,
I'm off to the farm.
Important to hydrate.
Can't remember the last time I heard a part on the radio.
I'll take over this hex. So
Okay.
you move these guys
Oh, yeah.
to
I
defend.
just bought my,
All right.
I thought I brought my, I thought I brought the ITA.
Yeah, that's a real problem for us. So
Have
what
you ever
we
played?
might want to do
Upright?
is
Yeah.
sacrifice him.
Oh, do I wanna play? Last time I played, I got
Move him there.
blockade.
Maybe later.
Put him in reserve.
15 guys.
Okay. Now, gonna be able to drive into here, but, you know, we can't be everywhere, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this.
Do we need to
this,
keep the headquarters within a
that.
certain number of
Forget
those?
where
Yes.
I was.
So,
The
1,
Prescon?
2, 3.
Okay.
you know,
Yeah, I was at
you could
PresCon,
make
that,
them
or whenever it was
4
last.
if you want to.
Okay.
And I ran into a guy who used to play up.
We don't
up
worry
front
about these
tournament in
guys
Bay
being
Area,
in the open
California.
because,
Ran into
And they're not really.
and their best use is actually to
Looking at
prevent
him going, "Hey,
airborne
what are you doing?"
units
"Hey,
dropping in
boy,
the rear.
Richard! We sat down and played
They've got
games.
ZOCs and
Fun, that's what
they take out the hacks.
Alright, so for the Americans, I'm gonna settle the radio, let the annotate, despite the efforts.
Try to go 1 for 1 on the vodka, bro. I'm here to help you if you need me help.
Ow.
I think we do them as independent, so I need a self-determination marker on there. That's 3 more points for the Americans.
What's it cost for the ferry?
What we need to move.
Oh, you've gotta start in.
Start next to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think you move 1 unit at a turn or something.
Yeah, 1 a turn moves over that. So don't stack them, because you'll
'Cause
only
they-
give them
yeah.
air targets.
Okay, got it.
And,
So that was
and,
just-
and just, we're gonna get a ton of reinforcements, but because he can next turn move there, just
okay.
guard
Sorry,
him.
coming again.
I would do something like that,
Okay.
and then you're safe. Now here,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to.
1, 2.
Yeah, we just need to see which one the Americans need down there.
Yeah, you might wanna just try and pull the number there. All right, so. Crap.
Each player loses 1 happiness per deployed military. So the first time you build breastworks, okay. That was all for which breastworks makes for the Americans. I was trying to time it for you to end up with the happiness one, not the Americans.
Dang. Look at this.
There's a contained European unrest is here. No, it goes this way, right? Which way is it? Hold on, I'll get it for you.
I feel good. I've got him thinking hard.
Yeah.
It's when he's like doing this, you know, he's on his phone with one hand, he's moving the counters with the other, that's when you start to really feel bad.
Well, hang on. You just settled Prussia, right?
All right, now, let's talk about multinational combat. We can stack together, no problem. Each army gets 1 multinational combat. So the Germans could get a multinational combat with the Americans or the British. But that would be it for both the Americans and the British. The Dutch might go with the French and make a multi, but you only get 1 per national army.
As an attack. Or
As an
defense-
attack.
the defense is
As
not-
an attack. So I'm thinking very seriously about counterattacking him here if I can. Even though normally I wouldn't try and do this on this turn.
Want to throw me off my timetable? It's also the psychological aspects.
something like that.
Gotta get inside the other guy's head.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I don't think so.
All gonna go up there.
I've got 3 and 4.
Gonna go there.
Gorby is smiling right now. I think he's got a slight grin on his face. A little hint of, satisfaction.
Can change quickly though.
Yes, sadly it can.
Because the only thing that was Union cavalry reinforcements, if you were to difference.
Say we're back, Bruce. You wanna come over here? Would that be easier?
No, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. But I appreciate your
Be
reminding.
crabbing about it later, I know.
Yeah.
Leader transfers. Anybody, you can transfer anybody for their units up to 10 hexes. You guys are all up here. Changing. Anchor doesn't have anybody else to go to. Well, up to initiative.
Okay, he can do that. Let's freeze off some of that sticky. What was I thinking?
Seeing how much stuff you had piled up in those two, there was a point at which you couldn't outlive me. Those guys get exhausted, don't they?
He can do everything.
Turn on a bid first, winning bid.
So what do you think you wanna visit first? The Louvre or the Eiffel Tower?
Some of them.
It'll lose. It'll lose.
Okay, so now we reset this though,
Have you been to Paris?
so I get to pick what I'm doing.
Anybody been to Paris?
Yes.
Yep.
What would you recommend we see first?
I never went to the Louvre. I did go up to the top of the Eiffel Tower though, and it's
I don't know
My
what.
wife doesn't wanna do
it's
it.
a
She doesn't
tall
like heights.
it's a tall building. Lets you see the city.
There's a restaurant there too, from what I understand.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Any good military museums in Paris?
So this is the strength one, replaces with this? Okay. So does this?
I would think that there would be.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's supposed to be a fourth.
Museums of a good
Yeah.
military or good museums of the,
Okay.
have the subject.
Yeah, that is
I'm
kind of a
going to
double loaded
choose
question.
extreme disarmament, which gives me a negative.
Well, I try to plan a trip, my main thing is to go to Normandy.
That's
I think
gonna.
I could spend the time, the effort, I might like to see the ossuary in Verdun,
Oh, yeah.
I forget what they call it.
3
Right.
underestimated. So here's the question though.
I don't
Okay,
like
so we
driving.
were here, we were 1, 2, 3, but then at the end of this, we're gonna reset the region unrest, right? Oh, okay, got it.
Corps had so many.
Okay, but this is now done all that. But you know what?
I'm not watching.
You can't use military if they're on disarmament. Well, so how many, but I'd have some guys back from exhausted. What was your total that you couldn't do?
You can take all but 2 back.
Okay. Well, but I already had 3 of them in there, so those guys stay at least come back. Okay.
All right. And you remove these guys.
Yep, everybody's
All right, no,
Let me
that's
give
fine,
you
I just wanna.
okay.
Trick with the Dutch.
Okay, so that's that.
What we can do is if we
Okay,
stay
so we gave our
inside
3
of
unrested units, that should be
the
everything
Netherlands,
for
we can
that.
march.
And
because we're in
now,
friendly
that was
territory,
the
so
bid,
we
now
can
the region
march
unrested,
all the
increase
way
the
up
power
to
tech
there.
Ah,
level
got
1,
it,
and
okay.
Getting
set
a lot
this.
closer to the front.
And then I've
But
selected my
you did
issue.
the exact
Oh,
right
no,
thing. That's it.
No, but
Yeah,
now we
the one
select
thing
the
is
issue
you-
option,
you-
so now those 3
Those
unrested
guys,
Oh, yeah.
those guys do come back, by the way. But if you're gonna use them as a holding, I'd stick them in the
In the
city
city,
where he
yeah.
gets a column shift.
goes down 3.
And-
I'd initially put
yeah.
someone else in the city and I moved back, but
Yeah,
yeah,
and
okay.
then he gets the organic
Okay, and then
defense,
I
because
got
he's kind of a
certain
gimme.
Yeah.
Here, though, we might want to do something like this,
Okay.
right, and he's in reserve.
Oh, okay, I see how you're doing it,
And
okay.
then they're not gonna, past us, and that is the only 2-hex neck of Denmark, because that's an impassable hex line.
Is that my turn?
Now, you've got these guys you haven't moved.
Which issue did you just say?
Now, the problem the U.S. has is he has no supply up there until the Third Corps arrives, and he's starting all the way back here. So the U.S. is a purely defensive unit.
I was leaving them there for next turn to plug that gap that's gonna get created. I didn't think I'd be able to stop stop that this turn.
Yeah, what I recommend is let's move him up there.
You're American.
So this guy would go 1, 2, 3, 4 because of the interdiction.
Yeah.
5, 6 for the river, 7 for the ZOC. You just prevented
Okay,
him from
we're
getting
gonna
over.
get across the river this turn.
Right, and that's the critical thing is we need to prevent him. Now, what's this guy's story?
They asked me to remember why I was thinking.
We wanna move little one.
What I might recommend is that you move him here. 1s and 3s, stacks. 1s and 3s are hard for him to hit with air. Right, and that way you've got choices to reinforce all 3 of these hexes if he attacks. And that concept of creating you see I've got just a wall of reserves. I'm trying to complicate the problems he has with his, with using his air. All right, I think I'm all moved with whatever I got. So now, we have 1 airstrike left, right? So we've used 1 here. I recommend.
No, it doesn't look.
Well, no, it does.
It does.
Because we dropped that there. But the other thing is, I want to give that air to you, and I want you to strike that target.
Anything to bid with?
Okay.
You got 1.
Nuke 'em till they glow.
I put 1.
You want a 5 or 6?
All right, and so we're going for that
We're going
artillery
for
there.
that artillery.
The artillery didn't wanna move up
Nope,
there.
that's another 1.
That's the only roll that misses completely.
Yeah.
Fuck us. All right, this has been a horrible game, but hey, this is a totally
You're the designer, right?
this is a totally normal
You
game.
should have made it with cards or
Well,
something.
so
Take
Keith,
the luck element completely out of
the
it.
trend continues.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Well, I mean, that says a lot.
Now, do I score the points up here all over again?
All right.
Okay. Well, I
all right,
know
so
I
the
wasn't
only
getting
combat
7
is
points,
here.
but I didn't know if these apply.
So I've got 9 and 14, which is 23.
Why does that go down?
I'm gonna have to use one of my airplanes and
But that shouldn't happen until we resolve.
helicopter this guy in. So we'll
Roll well and live.
helicopter in there. No, because it's a friendly unit. I'm okay. I can drop behind my own lines. All right. So that makes it 24 and then 8. So that's 32. 32 to 4 is an 8 to 1. And down to a 7 to 1 because of the forest.
Woohoo! I think we're gonna see our first dead guy.
2 at 7 to 1.
D1R1.
That's enough. All right. So you get somebody. However, every single unit there is out
You
of
can
supply.
compare and contrast it.
They're all out of supply?
Oh, out of supply. So I need more of these. The flip side of that.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so everybody here is out of combat supply because there was nothing. We blew all our organic. All right.
So they can't trace to,
They.
Is it because they're too far from the HQ or?
No, it's because the supply net on the first day of war is dry.
oh, okay. So they just have
That's
to,
funky.
All the trucks are in parks, miles away. All these supplies are under lock and key in warehouses.
Right.
They're trying to get forward through refugees, down bridges,
right.
clogged roads. Yeah, it's not good. Right.
finished combat phase. We're moving into the reserve phase.
So we're just gonna stay where we are, I think. No advance after combat. We are not advancing into the maw. So good, sir. That's it. I think we're done with our turn.
It
So
was
in-
just that one attack?
just that one attack. Well, when I go out of supply, when we counterattack,
Uh-huh.
right? The only reason I'm doing this is he can't get much up there this turn.
Right.
Whereas here, he's gonna hit us with everything in its mother, so.
Suppression phase.
Right. So now, these guys unsuppress.
Turn 2.
And it now becomes turn 2, and it is your
Joint
turn.
status.
And now, you guys get all those reinforcements.
Yoo-hoo!
They're on the edge of the map, do I recall?
They all come in one of these reinforcement
But then they
boxes.
can rail in to a certain extent.
You gotta stay in
I'm just
front of
making
the
sure I'm
No, you're
remembering the
remembering
lessons.
Some of them are rail reinforcements, some of them are marching.
Right.
Depending on how
Can you
far.
imagine that? You need to march across Poland and East Germany before you fight.
Can you imagine how many of those tanks would have broken down with the kind of maintenance they
Yeah.
had?
And they were, 40 years younger then.
In 2008, when the Russians went into
Crimea.
Georgia,
Oh, Georgia.
Georgia, they launched a Category 1 division. It was 130 kilometers from the border. 1/3 of its tanks never made it to the border. They'd broken down.
Wow.
Does that sound like the early years of the early days of Barbarossa?
Right,
It hadn't gotten any better.
So these can go anywhere along.
No, they're marked. So that is G5, which is up there. I think.
okay.
Now the RR
That's the rip.
can appear anywhere, but this is the Polish front. So you determine where you want to put him. I'd probably put him here with the rest of the Poles.
Yeah, this one is.
And then this guy is an heir, so technically he's going in there. Oh, now I didn't tell you this, so I'm going to give you guys a chance to redo it. Last term, any of these guys could have flown into any friendly city in friendly airspace, right? So I mean, as an example,
They were still in the bars.
right? These guys.
didn't get
Let's,
the
let's
front
assume that they
Yeah.
fly in there. This is a North German front, sorry, Baltic front asset. So let's see, that's still within range, but he could have flown in there, as an example. Poe just arrived. This guy, because you don't have an air unit, let's presume that he flew in support of you. And so I guess we can fly him in there as well, because we can fit all 4 forward into that. All right, and then these guys are your reinforcements down here. All right, so that's it. And then we check for supply. All your guys are in supply, with the exception of those guys. So when those guys dropped, they also went out of supply, and they fought a combat, so they're halved.
Humanity.
However, you get to fly one free resupply mission by air.
Woo-hoo!
So grab the other dice. Here it is.
Woo!
And you need to survive an interception on day 2.
Well, but they would come out of here, because that affects what
All right, so you're in. Here's your unit. You're in enemy airspace on day 2, so you need to survive a 5. You're right, a 5. So roll higher than a 5, and the supply point makes it through. It does not. That doesn't cost you an air transport. Is- But the resupply effort to your paratroopers didn't make it.
Now they had
This turn, you can keep trying.
Are they out of movement and combat supply?
They are, yes. So technically, they would have both markers on it, but you're gonna remember that, I'm not gonna burden you with that.
Oh.
But they are, at the moment, not in supply. All right. So the next thing happens is rail movement. Sorry, first thing is air. So you guys, this guy, your Pole, could fly in, and so so you're the Polish, but I'm gonna recommend that you maybe fly him into Leipzig, because your Poles are coming up this turn.
rolls for the number of hexes.
All right, so he's moved, and then these guys below are airborne. You could drop a parachute division somewhere on the map. And the interception value is now going to be the same from this turn through 7. So there's no particular incentive or disincentive to use him now, but you certainly want to use him sometime between now and turn 7, before the 9th Air Force can arrive.
Je pose une question, s'il vous plaît. What effect does this have on air movement?
None.
So he could theoretically
Correct.
Now I'm on the,
kilo or
Yes.
otherwise move
Correct.
behind here. And you might want to consider this. Is grab some guys and get behind this guy certainly and make sure he dies.
Now, Hilo
Maybe
is
try
the
to
very
cut these
last
guys off.
movement segment. But after you've done everything else, this guy could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And yes, he could reach there and get in the rear of him. Although I'm going to argue you've got so much combat power there, you're going to get a 10 to 1 on him no matter what. So I wouldn't personally.
Or maybe go after
risk
this
that.
crowd HQ back here.
The core assault does
But that would only be a 1 to 1.
nobody does.
Well, he only has one unit.
Well, no, he could paradrop the entire.
So the whole brigade. Don't we have like
Yeah, you could paradrop the whole division on that hex if you wish.
I don't know what that would do for him.
It would kill him and take away his
But it would
UFC.
help us deny the defensive, the defense behind the Western. Is that the Western?
Yes.
Whatever that is. While these guys are struggling to get forward. Or you could OMG these guys. You move half.
Half rounded down. But because of the placement here, the OMG isn't going to get very far.
Well, unless he blows these guys away to give him in.
True, then you could move around that air zone.
Yeah. I have enough worries. I have my own worries,
Yeah.
comrade.
I'll keep you where he is for now. You can where there.
All right, let's get this going.
All right, so if you're not doing any airdrops or sea drops, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to rail in any rail reinforcements. He's a marcher. He's a marcher.
Rails, where are
They're,
the rails?
yeah, they're rail. All right, so they stack together because they're actually one unit, and in fact they're one unit with this. Oh no, okay. There's the Polish. So that's the Polish, and he's in rail. So he can move 20 onto the hex, and this guy is another rail. Now he's a special front. He's only operative when he crosses the border north of the Elbe. So his job was to take Denmark and keep everybody else moving towards the Rhine. But once he goes operative by moving past this border, he can command any troops from any front north of the Elbe. Right, so he's sort of your task force for Denmark. So you can't move him within 5 hexes of this because I still own that hex. But what you can do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could rail him to right here. Okay, so that's good. And then this guy, now, this is where you and Paul might want to just go have a quiet conference over there. The question is, where are you going to put the
They could come
poles?
back up, depending on unrest checks, they could come back up.
You know,
I've got enough to manage already. I'm gonna burn him.
Right, so what I recommend is you head the poles for the seam between the two fronts.
That way when he fails, I can tell Gorby, hell, he got the
Yeah.
lion's share of the fucking reinforcements, and
Right.
what did he do?
Yeah.
So-
And
so-
I had nothing and look back.
I mean, and they're conveniently on this axis anyway, right?
Keep me out of
So
the
that
pool.
would argue that what you want to do is bring this guy as far forward as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could bring him up to here and not be within range of my tactical. Does that make sense? Now, these guys and these guys, so we're done with the rail phase. Don't forget your guys here.
I'll get to it.
But if you, as long as you stay 5 away from my units, and that's not gonna be hard, all of these can double their movement allowance.
Yeah, Berlin was a
But
good.
just remember that major rivers are a +1 to cross. Now, you have another choice. And this is actually, I'm gonna recommend this.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
You could entrain this very slow-moving unit. Right? And you could entrain this very slow-moving unit. And then move the tanks by double movement.
So they would just come on anywhere.
Yeah, they can come on anywhere in that 5. And your best bet is probably here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, heading towards this seam.
Now, something I should know. How do I know that these enter from here? What is I get the 5, but what's the G count?
Ground reinforcement 5.
Okay. Okay,
So,
so
yeah,
the
as
G.
opposed to
Okay,
rail.
so the
As
5.
opposed to rail.
Okay, gotcha.
The-
So the G doesn't.
Right, whereas
The
this
G just
one
indicates ground.
has an RR for
Okay.
railroad.
I was thinking the G was a reference to a location, not the ground. Okay, got it.
That's what the RR meant, got it.
That's what the RR meant. And the A means air mobile over there. So you've got ground, air mobile, and a railroad. So those just stay there for this turn because they entrain.
That's right, they entrain.
Right? And this just, next turn, you flip them to that, which allows them to move 20.
Gotcha.
Right? So they're entraining. But all these can move double their movement allowance.
The Americans not get a strategy card.
Yep, that's perfect.
And now Shields is gonna activate both of them.
That's
Oh,
perfect.
reason I didn't.
Now, you need to pay attention to the +1 to enter an enemy ZOC. So this guy started in 4407.
And that would have given you more manpower.
See, the problem is that guy costs 3, and I got a ZOC there. So this guy could go 1, 2, 3. He could get to there.
It cost me 1 to get out of your dock. I think it was the top one.
Or he could move to there. Okay, but for instance, where did this guy start?
We're gonna settle it for Italy.
46.
So England gets 2, which is.
Oh, yeah, so he can get that because he comes down the pass. Yeah, that's legit. But this guy, no, he can probably get there too. It's 4205, 42.
Where did this guy end up here?
42. Okay, that's all legit. And this guy is 4604. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can't get there.
No.
Right, so he starts in 4604. Am I reading that right, Paul?
You are.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. He could go 4, 5, or he could go 4. But this would be 5, 6 into that ZOC.
Here we've got.
You've got these stacks that are collected for counterattack. They're out of supply. What do you do about them? You can't crack them, can you? Because their defense strength is amped because there's 4 units.
Yeah, I mean, all of my guys are half, so
Oh, they're having just
Either on defense or on.
even on defense.
But they still might have a defensive like 8, right?
Yeah, no, they're. That's why I wasn't too worried about making the counterattack. Because I figured he really doesn't have enough combat power to hit me.
So you just have
Okay, so that was my.
East Germans and Soviet Union attacking?
No, the Czechs and the
Czechs are
Poles
down
were in
there.
too. But the Soviets didn't trust them, so they told them late. So they didn't get to. There's a pre-war term they didn't get to move on, and they didn't get to move on the first term of the
So
war.
as the Americans.
So they took 48 hours before they got rolling. But the East Germans they informed because they had to get nuclear troops. So the East Germans and the Soviets are bearing the brunt of the attack on the first day. On the second day, the Czechs are just getting rolling, and the Poles are just trying to even get up to the front. we're going to get a shit ton of reinforcements this turn.
Okay, and then I gotta figure out what to, well, so for the speech, yeah, end of the fall, right? And what does it say, if no uprising?
All right. So technically, Bill, these appeared right now, before anybody moved.
Oh,
Those
okay.
are all the Danish. And you see all these triangles? Every one of them will be on a triangle.
Okay.
There's little red triangles of the action.
Banzai!
So, controller of issue being settled loses 2 happiness, so that's miracles, right? Alright, then we gotta figure out what gets advanced down below. Yes.
Banzai. I don't like the sound of that. Having just lost 14 brigades. Holy shit. There was one game where I lost 21 brigades on the first turn.
But did you win the game?
He surrendered on turn 4.
You're not giving me a whole lot of hope here.
Well, what was very interesting, this was Neil Bedke, and Neil actually knows what he's doing, so
Right.
he formed each army up into its actual constituent groups, and each one was a male fist advancing forward, you know, and he incinerated my forward line, but he didn't move his armies in a supporting fashion. He moved each as an individual male fist, not really tracking how porous DOCs were. So I surrounded and destroyed his first army, and then I surrounded and destroyed his second army, and then I
there's a big
surrounded and
hole.
destroyed his third army, and then he surrendered.
Right. But once you had the first army, that's a big hole.
That's a big hole. That's a big hole.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do.
But despite horrible luck, I wait for it. Outmaneuvered. It's the only thing I have.
Maneuver, Captain Maneuver.
They get to the 2 industry markers.
Thankfully, this is so. Keith, you weren't here when I said this, but the key combat element of this game is that if you surround an enemy unit with ZOCs, but it's adjacent to a friendly unit or friendly city, you get a column shift. It's called a flank attack.
Right.
If you do that and it's not adjacent to an enemy unit, a friendly unit or friendly city, so it's completely surrounded, it's a concentric attack, and you get 2 column shifts. And the whole game is about setting those up, especially using airborne envelopment
Right.
to get a unit in the rear,
Right.
which gives you a flank attack.
Maximize your column.
But it is really a game of maneuver, of which combat is just the outcome of the maneuver.
Right.
But you guys so far are doing really, really well. All right, if you finish moving, Mark, place your battle markers.
What year was the original edition?
83. Long ass time ago, man.
Long time ago.
What is that? That's 40 years.
41 years ago.
Yeah.
What's so
Copy on
funny
my
to me
shelf, although it's
is
not
I remember all the guys at cons when I was that age. We're all still here, and we look just the way we looked back then. Wearing t-shirts with long hair, if you have any hair left. I got leukemia at 46 and had to have a bone marrow transplant, which is the most chemo to give any form of cancer. So the hair went. But I kept my life.
That's a trade-off.
I'll trade my hair for my life.
I'm not doing that. I'm losing my hair.
I got off by a hair's breadth.
Oh.
Sorry.
You are allowed. No, you are allowed to say that. You are totally allowed to say that.
I love puns. As I like to say, the punishment will continue until morale improves.
Right.
They blew us away on that first turn. Just blew us away.
I can feel the sneeze
So
coming.
you've done 1 turn so far?
Yeah, we're just starting. Well, there was a pre-turn, so we're actually on turn 3. All right. Now, whilst you're waiting, Mark, Roll the die for your
That
error.
was it for my American deployer.
Right, that's good.
The Americans
For
said
you.
to pile up their shoes.
Can you hand me that card? Thank you, good sir. All right. So you get 6 and 1 for your air points, and we get 6 and 1.
6 and 1, 6 tactical. Yeah, of course, that's the way.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
So we're on even terms on arrows. So we went from 2 to 6 and 1. So our Air Force is now finally up.
They've woken up.
They've woken up. Thank God.
This strategic surprise?
Yes, strategic surprise. And let's just presume for the sake of range override. Just remember that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so if you even if you advance, you'll still be in range. However, Paul, your helicopter only flies 5 hexes. You might think about
humanity.
moving him forward.
The humanity.
And your headquarters are not vulnerable to attack in a conventional sense because they're networks. That's just the center of the network. I can't kill them there. So there's no reason really not to move it. So that looks good. So, Paul, the only thing that's left is you place your battle markers.
Holy crap!
You got
Oh, goodness. We have little peas on them?
what? Does that represent me peeing in my pants because
Oh,
you're coming?
pea for Paul, yeah, that's
Ah,
So mark up his counters.
Got a special forces team going in there.
somebody's gotta do it.
all right.
There's a
So,
little gnat.
Oh, yeah, well.
There it is, there it is right there. It's behind the line.
But doesn't have a spare net helicopter.
all right, we are.
it's the mountain troops are with the mountains.
Right, there's our Air Force in being.
Hey, look at that.
Clear, or as we say in Russian, deliciously clear. Is it the Belgians? Yeah.
We're gonna settle. We're gonna settle for the upper one.
But it's really next turn before we start getting better reinforcements, I see. Or,
Correct.
Yeah.
Pacific unrest.
Although, what did you? This just came in.
No, they
there.
started. They started.
What was the other unit?
I've exhausted the
What's the
battle.
green? Oh, what's the? Is the U.S. unit?
This turn,
Yeah.
I'll get to move the French, but only the French in West Germany.
Okay.
And there's 3 of them.
But there was one counter. What was the last
Oh,
counter?
it was him.
Him. Okay.
He's a reserve.
Okay.
He's going to be trying to move to get him in supply.
Yeah. Okay.
God knows why the U.S. did that, but that was supposed to be the lead unit of 3rd Corps. But why didn't they put the headquarters?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, the 103? Because they were detached.
Right, but they still need supply.
Well, I mean,
The
yeah.
thought was
I mean,
probably-
real world, they were detached. they were tasked to North Ag, which is how they ended up there.
Yep.
I would presume they would put in other kinds of supply considerations. You know, that's
Yeah,
where
I mean-
that's where the having the same 105 ammunition is helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, strictly speaking, their HQ's back there. So what do you do?
All right.
Recovery phase?
Jesus, look at that wall.
Yeah, here we go. It either works or it doesn't.
Recovery phase?
Recovery phase, but you have no disrupted units because we rolled a 1.
I thought that was this.
By we mean, he means that son of a gun to my left.
No, trust me. I'm the guy who rolled 1 7 times out of 10 rolls with a
Yeah,
10-sided die.
yeah.
Don't look at me. I throw no stones.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not my fault.
How much air do we have this trip?
So you guys have 6 and 1.
Only one?
Only one.
Only 108?
So, what you want to do is hit one of the damaged ones.
Yeah, which one is that? That one?
Just-
Yeah.
So, roll one die. Now, so now you're not getting surprised, so it's -1 on the die roll for going into enemy airspace. So you want to roll a 3 or higher.
Woohoo! Oh, you can do that.
Oh yeah,
All
with
right, he's
authority.
dead. All right, so just for the fun of it, there's your turn 1 dead pile. There's your turn 2 dead pile.
We can stack them up on the turn marker if you want.
No, it's actually more effective if you lay them out.
Psychologically, I prefer to do
No,
that.
I actually like your idea.
Yeah.
Well, if
Right,
it gets
so,
really tall.
So you guys want to split the air 3 and 3, or how do you want to split your air? You've got
What do we got?
6 of these puppies.
You get a lot of battles that probably could use some here.
All right, so you get 4 and you get 2. You want to do it that way? I mean, you guys decide.
Well, I don't want you going back to Gorby later and bitching about the fact that we didn't have any air support.
I've only got a few battles and I
I'm
got,
okay with 50-50.
Yeah, but you have 2 fronts and he has 1 front.
The check front's really a side thing. I don't care what happens to
I've
the check.
seen the Czechs get over the Rhine.
Well, I don't think you'll see him do that this time.
One fleet, 2 German economies.
Safe.
Just saying, just saying. All right,
I'm going forward.
all right, so go ahead and place your, and I want you guys to pay attention to your artillery divisions.
What are those?
And I'm gonna have him there.
Is that good?
Yes. He can strike any of 3 hexes, so it's a good place for him.
airstrikes into cities, not good, right?
Not good. At least into major cities, not
Yeah.
good. Into minor cities, no different than any other cover. All right, now that you're finished moving, this goes away.
Easy. Everybody take it easy.
Nothing to do with this one. You need another one?
You can't find somebody to bomb a reaction star. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what
That's a reaction. Well, but except you're not attacking.
Yeah,
Now you're supposed to choose
I
your
got the only reaction stuff I got.
Aren't you indeed fortunate? How is it that I'm getting the lion's share of the resistance, and you are hardly anybody, and yet
He's telling me what to do.
who's made the deepest penetrations?
Do you need one? I got nothing to react.
Can I use another one? Sure, I'll find somebody to go blast. This little bastard right here.
Okay. All right.
I like that he said ouch when I did that. That makes me feel
I told you you needed it.
warm and fuzzy inside.
All right.
That's not just what I had for breakfast.
All right, so let's go do your air. So first die roll here. So wait, before you roll,
Still on
well, it
strike.
doesn't really matter. Just roll.
Easy.
This is for
For this airstrike. No, for the airstrike. That whiffs because the 2 goes down to 1 in the terrain here.
Strike.
So that didn't work. Right here, strike here. That whiffs as well.
Choking on all his, or is he choking on mine now?
Reversion to the mean.
You suck, dude.
evidently.
You're not helping me.
That disrupts. All right, here. That disrupts somebody. All right, so you can disrupt 2 of these guys. You probably want to disrupt the strongest 2.
Modest choice, sweetheart.
So why 2 different units?
Because I had 3 in there, and each air point can only address 2 steps.
Ah,
But you're allowed to put 4.
okay.
You're as much as 2.
So it was 1 in the other hex because it was a 2-step.
So
Got
that
it.
whiffs.
You wouldn't have done this crisis.
So now you guys do artillery.
Easy.
I got it. All right.
If I'd known he was
I think
gonna
your
roll.
artillery is here.
If I'd known he was gonna pooch all the rolls, I would have given him all the air. Then he could have taken that much more blame from Gorby. You had all that air and you got nothing.
It's all about the blame, is that what you're saying?
All right.
Well, at
so
the
it's
end, I think
5
that's what
goes
it's
to
gonna
4.
come down
This disrupts.
I'm gonna make sure I'm well positioned, whichever way it goes.
Right.
And that halves the defense.
Yes.
Right.
It does.
What's that? The Russians plan so many years ahead. I'm planning
Who do
70
you-
days ahead.
Who do
What
you
happened?
who do you want to artillery?
Who do I want to artillery?
Yeah. So this battle. This
Can I suppress this guy with
Yeah, you
artillery?
can. You
Let's
can.
do that.
All right. So he gets to roll. And that works. So the last unit is suppressed. So
What's
now
the
the whole
suppression do
stack.
for combat?
One, their defense is halved, rounded up. Two, they can't react, which is what he wanted. So I built this big stack to be able to react into either of these two hexes, but now they can't because they took me out. All right, so that's it for that. Now, battle. Let's take it from the north.
Well, if he wants to do it, maybe he has some timing in his attacks, some nuance.
Except
Don't
they're-
let him snow you into like not counting it.
Except they're all spread apart. So,
Alright, so 5, 13.
well, no, hang on. So the
I'm
tanks are
having trouble
half.
identifying
Tanks
his
are half
fair
because we're going
point.
into
Can
a
you
city.
Right,
identify
so
what his
this
fair
is,
point is, or is he using the broad front?
It's 10 down.
Well, I mean, it looks like if he
This
clears
guy,
these
that
two
becomes
units
8.
out, that basically the whole front's open.
He is quartered.
Interdiction
Yeah,
aside.
but it's hard to
Because
clear
he's
cities. I
going
normally go
across the
fight
river.
cities.
That's-
He's basically
I-
2.5.
I'm
called
asked to
2.
move on.
So that's 10, 12.
But the only thing there
And
is
this
that
guy
first
adds
piece.
3, so you're
I
15.
might be enough.
It's not gonna be
Let's
good.
see how
Well,
he
might be.
roll well and win.
Yeah, because
It
the Mountains,
doesn't matter.
the Dutch are
Well,
coming
and
out,
plus
so-
he can react in. So I'm going to recommend that you not do that.
Talk about it.
Could I suggest that maybe a better use of these units is taking that city?
Yeah.
All right. So here, you get a mulligan.
in Soviet Union nuance battle
I
unit.
don't think Gorby's very pleased with
I mean, who prioritizes Lubeck over?
Yeah. Yeah, that works. That'll. Okay. So that becomes the battle, and you can't miss that battle. So we just place a control.
I'm sorry, but Gorby is frowning right now.
You need that
But
counter.
somebody
You
must
need that
advance
counter.
He's incredulous.
You need that counter.
in order to actually take control.
I'm not good at graphics, so I was just thinking of
All right.
just doing a yellow.
So
It's
we're
black
not
and
even
white
going to do this
photograph.
combat because you have 10 to 1 odds.
It might not look right.
So you can advance into that hex.
Not really.
But yes, but not with the artillery.
Yeah.
But that can advance in, and that guy could advance in. There you go.
There's a big hole there.
There's a big hole there.
not
But
for
we
long.
held it with air.
Yeah.
Yeah, over there.
All right. So let's see. So you've got 10 and 10 and 10. So that's 15. With the little guy 16, 17. So it's 17 and 16. So that's 33. You have 33. Okay. Well, now, hang on. We get reaction. And we're going to react 1 unit in because it's not the last unit.
Okay, so that's 20.
All right. So we've got.
Yeah, I wasn't
So
thinking there was.
we've got 12, 3 times 4, and then 2 for Hanover itself, we're 14. So essentially what you have here is a raw 2 to 1. Okay? Now, let's assume that you're going to use your offensive support on this. And your helicopter. However, before you use your helicopter, if you go into a city, the flak roll will be 1 or 2. Cities are hell on helicopters.
So that applies to the non-player also?
So you're really risking your helicopter if you do that. But without the helicopter, which is the last calculation, let's just go through this. So you've got a raw 2 to 1.
Yep.
Flank gives you a 3 to 1. The city takes you back to a 1 to 1. Offensive support takes you back to a 2 to 1. So if you throw on the helicopter unit, you could make it a 3 to 1.
He's trying to get you to kill yourself on a flak roll.
I am. He's right.
Well, I committed to the battle, so I'll throw him in there.
Okay. So you roll.
forget to
You
check.
want to? You're very good at rolling 1s and 2s.
Watch, it's gonna
This
be
is the
6
time when it's
now.
good to roll.
But here, that's our die.
There we go. There's a 1 again.
All right, he hit you. So now you need to roll higher than his strength of.
You know, I'm so sick of playing nice games.
So roll again.
Oh, I roll it?
Yeah, roll again.
2.
And we don't get it. So he gets 3.
Fates have intervened.
Okay, so that gets it back up to 3 to 1.
That's a 3 to 1.
Which isn't great.
Matt should be able to marry. They settled. Okay, so hold on, we do that one.
Fuck.
Really? Counterattack D1R1.
All right. So the R1 we can ignore. The D1 gets
Can you get
us.
on, Grief?
Okay.
All right. So because so you get to pick who's the D1. So you're gonna take a good tank.
Yep.
So we die again. Now we have 3 units in here.
Do all 3 get the counterattack or just 1?
No, all 3 get to counterattack. And what I'm going to recommend is this would be a very juicy counterattack target if you can have it. So go after him first.
All right, we'll do that. 2.
We've still got 2 more. Go after these 2.
All right. Second one. 2. And the third one?
Yes.
4.
So one of them.
Yeah.
Question on the helicopters. Since they used the helicopters last time, should they have been flipped and refueling this turn?
No, you get them every turn because each turn is a day.
Okay.
All right, Paul, over to you.
Already?
So that cost us a brigade to hold that hex that turn. That's unfortunate. We had a very good chance of 3 to 1.
Always forget to check
Right.
for the cities.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. 50-50 to not have any losses for us, yeah.
yeah, but that would require luck and well done played. So. If it wasn't for bad luck.
Yeah.
That's the spirit.